Song for Life in Thai introduced by Oh Ta-eun and Kim Ye-jin. Plong Po Chuit. The word itself means song for life or art of life, otherwise literature of life. It began and flourished due to a part of history that had been a big issue in Thailand. Plong Po Chuit, also known as Song for Life, is a Thai folk song that is strongly influenced by the music of the Western, especially Western music by the artists of Bob Dylan, Bob Marley, and Neil Young. So what caused the beginning of the Song for Life? The history begins during the 60s and the 70s when the American Cold War policies influxed into Thailand. This became a marking point as Thailand accepted American culture widely. American music was played mostly everywhere during the period. However, the 70s youngsters were interested in not only the Western music itself, but combining the Western style music with their cultural folk music. However, there is more history behind the Plong Po Chuit. Why did it become a politically relevant song when it is simply a mixture of Thai and Western music? On October 14, 1973, there was a student riot that occurred after the Thammasat University massacre. When the American culture spread over the core of Thailand, the education rate increased 10 times, and thus more educated students preferred the American culture as well as the democratic politics that America was following. Therefore, students wanted to get rid of their communist military dictatorship, resulting in the Thammasat University massacre by the military. After the TUM, the students used the Song for Life music to fight off the military officially, as many people died during the event. Finally, on October 14, 1973, the student riot occurred and succeeded, overthrowing the dictator, three tyrants, Tanom Kitikakorn, Parpas Charusathian, and Naron Kitikakorn.
Now, we're going to talk about the formation of Caravan. Caravan is the earliest Song for Life band formed after the 1973 student massacre. The band's four key members are Surachai, Virasak, Mongkol, and Tongran. After the uproar in 1973, Caravan, along with other bands and activists, fled for the hills, and there they continue playing music for local farmers. At first, both students and the peasants felt reticent and awkward as they huddled around evening campfires. So, the students would begin to sing one song after another to break the ice. And after a while, the peasants started accepting the students and the songs they sang about establishing democracy. As Caravan toured the rural areas, their popularity later reached and became concentrated among the urban university communities. Caravan became musical heroes to students and others interested in fundamental change. Many of their songs have been overtly political in content, emphasizing the conditions of the peasantry, the struggle for a more equitable society, the counterproductive presence of U.S. military bases, and the courage to work for change. Some of their songs were written by the group members themselves, while others were composed by other student activists or adapted from poems. Given the democratic situation in the mid-1970s, there was seemingly little need to mask their messages, but it must be kept in mind that they were often harassed and sometimes assassinated by the military-backed right-wing groups and unsympathetic bureaucrats. Their music was and remains too controversial for most Thai elites, even liberal ones. For example, Yellow Bird, perhaps their best-known song, honors those heroes who sacrificed their lives to overthrow the military dictatorship in 1973. Let's have a short listen to this track. The Thai Song for Life wasn't that popular initially in the 1970s, the year which it had just begun, but it soon surged and doubled in the 80s and reached its peak in the 90s. The popularity, however, has dropped since then. One of the most famous bands well known until today is Carabao. Carabao achieved success with their fifth album, Made in Thailand, became a hit in 1984 which sold over 4 million copies. So that's it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.